All right. It's Friday evening, about 11 o'clock, July 15th, the day of rage. Well, I listened to a live stream from Gabu a while ago. He was talking with some of his buds, and they were not getting emails or tweets or phone calls or reports from anywhere about anything that looked like Day of Rage in the United States, other than there was a report about police in Oakland, California forming a line. And I have not heard anything more about that. So it remains to be seen if anything got kicked off there with all of that. But there were some things that did get kicked off. I can't even remember. I think I did mention that there was a terrorist thing in France. Y'all know all about that. I'm not going to elaborate on it, other than to say that the last I saw, the death toll had risen to 84. There is the usual speculation online that was just a hoax and didn't happen. There is also the usual speculation online that the Day of Rage was all just a psyops on the internet and had no basis whatsoever in reality. Again, we will have to go a little bit further with that exploration. The other news that popped up involves what apparently is an attempted coup in the Islamic Republic of Turkey. And reports on that are inconclusive. Much of the information that I have seen has come by way of CNN, which makes it grossly unreliable. CNN, is playing on that team, and they are playing their part and doing their part. So I really, who the hell am I anyway? Sitting in this old farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere on the damn prairie, looking at and trying to critique and review and understand what is going on in the Middle East. I don't know. But it is clear that whatever else is going on in Turkey, it is another movement of the Islamic hordes, and it cannot bode well for anybody, either which way, I guess. And I never did cook the liver today. I asked Mike how he would like to have it fixed, and he looked appalled. And we ended up deciding that Mike really doesn't like liver and onions. He did eat it as a child. There were 10 kids, and that's what was put on the table, and they were all starved, and he ate it. But it's he does not have an acquired taste that he would like to revisit that particular dish. So Jenny was relieved because she has never prepared it for him. And I'm relieved because I'm not going to prepare it for him either. And we decided we would feed the liver to the numerous kittens. Yes, there are kittens on the farm again. I think it was last week. One lady came out here and she selected and took home with her 15 various assorted felines and was happy to get them. She had two little kids in the car with her, and she had some kennel boxes and just filled up the kennel boxes. And I thought that who, you know, uh, can understand going and getting one or two kitties for your children, but this was unusual. What was she going to do with 15 farm cats? And the explanation was that they do have a hobby farm place. Don't really make their living there, but they do have some livestock and chickens and the like. And anyway, the woman had discovered, to her horror, that the place was suddenly overrun with rodents, and she felt the only solution for this was to get a bunch of cats. So that's why she wanted 15 cats. Some were young, but most of the ones that she took had actually been spayed or neutered in all that episode that we did earlier in the year. And then today there was another lady who wanted 3 kittens, and for some reason she wasn't able to come get them, and Jenny said, well, that's fine, we'll bring them. And so I rode with her just for something to do, and we delivered these 3 kittens to another farm place, maybe, I'll say 15 miles from here. It was an older farm place, well kept up, but old, well established, been there at least 100 years. And when we drove up, there was not a soul in sight. And Jenny just parked. And here in a minute comes a little chunky little 4-year-old, little girl. Charming little girl. And so we got out. Jenny had the kennel box with the 3 kittens in it. And the little girl said, come right this way. And she said, now this is the cat barn. And she opened the door to the shed thing. It was an old building. Interesting old building, bigger than a woodshed, but not as big as a barn. Kind of in between there. Had 2 stories, and the exterior of it at one point had been covered with metal. It had metal siding, unusual metal siding that kind of was molded or whatever to look like it was a brick design stamped or whatever on this aged metal. And it had been at some point painted red. So this, I've not ever seen a building that had that kind of siding. It was interesting. And judging from the arrangement of the interior, Jenny guesses, and I agree with her, that it was probably a granary back in the day. a granary. Now, however, it's a cat barn, and it was peopled with cats in there. I tell you what, there was 6 or 8 kittens. There was one calico cat, female, on duty with these 6 or 8 kittens. And while we were in there, this was the largest female cat I've ever seen. She was bigger than most tomcats. Enormous big female calico. You know, all calico cats are female. If they have 3 colors, then that's a female cat. Anyway, here comes this great big calico cat investigating these new kittens. And she immediately adopted them. And these are not nurslings, these are kittens, a couple of months old. But nonetheless, this big mama cat, who was clearly in charge in the cat barn, took up with these kittens. And again, I was kind of amazed because this farm already was looked like well stocked with cats. But the woman said no, actually, they didn't have enough cats. Apparently, they had recently had to find another home for the dog that they had. The dog was a cattle dog, but for some reason it was a cat killer, and it had killed this lady's cats. And so her cat supply was depleted, and she got rid of the dog and needed more kittens. And the little girl she was very, very charming. I enjoyed seeing that child. Reminded me of other little girls I have known and their kittens. All right, I'm rambling about kittens. There seems little else to say. Little else to say. I guess mainly I just want to let you know I'm here. I will continue to be here. I think of you all the time, 24/7. You're in my thoughts. You're in my heart. You're in my awareness, and you matter to me. And I think that is all I will say for right now. I will talk to you in the morning. Later, Gator.